Hey, y'all. Welcome to this Midweek Devotional. I want to read a passage with you guys from John chapter 13, verses 34 to 35. And I just want to unpack what this passage can mean as we look at embracing the gospel as a church and what that might mean for us as a church going forward and what it means for us corporately and what it means for us individually. So if you want, feel free to open up your own Bibles. I'm going to read from the NIV version, so if you want, that should come up on the screen. But let's dive in, and I just want to read this, short 2 verses for you. And this is what we read in John chapter 13, verses 34 and 35. A new command I give you, love one another as I have loved you. So you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. I love how we get these short 2 verses after, the Last Supper and Judas has kind of made his way to go and betray Jesus. We read this passage, this new command that Jesus gives. And it makes me wonder, what would it look like for us as a church if we showed love first? What would our communities look like? What would our churches look like? What would our homes look like if we did what Christ commanded us to do and just loved one another? And we're known by others by the way that we love one another, by the way that we go above and beyond. What would that look like? How much change could that create in our society if, as a church, we just tried to show love first in every situation? And this sounds rosy, but I don't think it is as rosy as it might sound, and it's not as simplistic as it might sound. I think it's hard to show love to people sometimes. It's hard to show love to people that we might not agree with, or people that have hurt us, or people that have done stuff to us, or even people who have different religious or political views than us. But God calls us to find a way to dive into Him more and more, where we're able to show love to people, where we're able to be known by our love for others. That's what, as a church and Christians, we should be known for across the world. We should be known for the way that we love each other. And I would love if, as a church in Highfields, we could be known here throughout the community of Highfields and Toowoomba and the surrounding areas as a church that loves well. And I really have been challenged this week after reading this verse of what does it mean to show love first? What does that look like in my parenting? What does it look like in my marriage? What does it look like in my friendships? And I think that's the kind of stuff as Christians and as followers of Christ we should be asking ourselves. So I want to encourage you this week in your own time with God to ask yourself those kind of questions, to find out what God might be telling you to do to show love first. What that might mean you have to do different. What that might mean you have to try harder at. But within any of that, God's grace and love is pouring out on us all the time. So we don't have to feel pressured if we are trying to show love first and we get it wrong. It's okay. Get back up and try again. So I want to encourage you with that this week, church. I want to encourage you to dive in with God and ask Him questions like that. Ask Him what it means to show love first in different areas of your life, be it work, be it, if you play sports or something like that, or in your family, with your kids, with grandkids. Ask Him those kind of questions. See what He might be wanting to teach and show you. And let's continue to dive in to the love of God as a church community. May God's grace and peace be with you.